Normally you get to hear me be awkward all on my own, but now you get to hear it with a guest to break up the silence. Isn't that fun? That's awesome. Please welcome my guest. I have to thank Ben Beck for this. This is the Ben Beck Hour. He's got a lot to do with this episode, but Derrick T. Lewis is here. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, man? How's everything?
I'm horrified, but we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I like fun.
You are friends with our head honcho, Ben Beck, and he shared your video at some point. I can't remember when, and I was like, hey, that's a good song, and I finally decided to reach out to you, and now here we are doing the thing.
Yes, fun times, man. Absolutely. I've known Ben. My God, I've known him about 16 years, and it's amazing. He's a real good dude. Really, one of my really good friends I could ever ask for. Really good guy.
There you go, putting Ben over right off the bat. He will enjoy the hell out of this.
That's right. What's up, Ben? See you soon, buddy.
Wonderful. So I was checking out your website, and I don't know if you run it, but if you do, hats off, because this made my job a hell of a lot easier. It's very comprehensive. It makes me feel like I've done nothing with my life. I see that you are coming up on an anniversary with Best Buddies, and almost 2 years. It'll be in March, right?
Yeah, actually, I joined Best Buddies in 2015, 2016. Basically, just to kind of give the folks out there, a little bit of information about Best Buddies. I actually learned about it, believe it or not, through Tom Brady, actually. I don't know Tom Brady. I'm a Pats fan, but he advertised it a lot. And really what it is that you're partnered up with somebody. You're buddied up with someone that has a disability, and you spend time with them, no matter what it is, whether it's going out to eat, going out to have, doing Best Buddies, when they have organized events that you can bring your buddy with you and all those things. You could talk to that individual, he or she, in the confines, whether it's text message, phone call, social media, whatever the case. And like I said, there's organized events that Best Buddies do. And I know every year I'm here in Delaware where I live, like we have the annual Christmas luncheon at Christiana Mall. And we usually pick them up, and then we take them to the mall, have lunch, walk around the mall a little bit, go into some stores. And they're really fascinated. They're really excited about that. And I know we do our annual walkathon in October every year, towards the end of October. And it's a bunch of, citizens and also buddies that actually, we do the walk. It's like a mile long, and they have all types of events, food, entertainment, and things of that nature. So it's been really rewarding for me, being able to help make a difference in someone's life. And I think it also talks about inclusion as well, and eliminating the R word. That's been a huge thing that they've been pushing a lot. That's been used so much. And I think really including people that may have a disability, and they can do things to help change the world too. So that's been my involvement at Best Buddies. And like I said, I learned about it through Tom Brady, and he has his own chapter up in Massachusetts. He does his bike ride every year around in June. And I know during OTAs or during like mini camp, they do like a football game at a stadium up in Massachusetts every year. And he and a bunch of Patriot players go up there, and there's a bunch of, people from Best Buddies, buddies, and everyone in their organization, in their chapter up there, and they do a charity football game, and it's really cool.
That's amazing. A couple things. Well, now you have a connection to Tom Brady, so that's fun. You're a Pats fan, though. Oh, all right, we can move past that. No problem. No, we're good. We're good. We could be buddies. No problem. So, do you celebrate with your best buddy at your anniversary? Do you go out and be like, "Hey, we've been doing this thing," or is it not an anniversary with your buddy, just an anniversary when you learned about the program?
It's more or less with my buddy, but with the program itself, before I joined officially, 2015, when I was gaining interest with it, learning more, reading up on it, and I met with someone, and it's all about, and what they do is that once you fill out a questionnaire with them, and actually they interview you, and as far as getting to know you, and then they try to do their best to pair you up with someone that, as far as compatibility is concerned too. And then once they match that person up and you get to know them and everything, and they go from there. And sometimes, like with my buddy, for example, like he likes more or less just talking. You know what I mean? It's not so much of going out. He just likes going out. He hates crowds.
Oh, okay.
I try to get him. I said, dude, come on. He's like, no, I am not going out. I'm like, okay, bud, it's not a problem. And it's cool. And there's no issues with that. So it's all about getting to know that person on a personal level and everything. And he loves sports. He's a big Niners fan. He loves the Atlanta Braves. He loves UNC basketball. So we talk sports a lot. He loves professional wrestling as well. So there's times we talk about Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views and stuff. So it's those things we have in common that we could talk about. It's really good. It's really, like I said, it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever been a part of.
So it's like Match.com, but for buddies. That's what this sounds like to me, in a fun way. Because you mentioned the profile, like you sign up and tell them about yourself, and then they talk to you and be like, "Hey, we're gonna set you up with a buddy." So it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe that's a bad example, but for some reason that's what I thought.
I get what you're saying, but it's more or less it's almost like filling out a questionnaire and seeing who's the best, who's more compatible for you, and you making a difference in that individual's life.
That's awesome. I love it. That's oh man, you make me want to go do that now.
You should. If you go to bestbuddies.org and you can actually choose, and like I said, read up on it. And if you definitely want to have somebody, talk to you, whatever the case may be, you could definitely do that. Just check it out and see. And I guarantee you, like I said, you'll if you decide to do it, it'll really be a life changer.
Awesome. And I'll put the link up in the show notes in case anybody else is inspired as well. Maybe you can meet Tom Brady by being a best buddy. I don't know. Go to the Super Bowl with him. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. I don't know. But I was looking again. I'm looking at your website again, making it really easy for me to do this. And I'm looking at.
And by the way, before we continue, huge shout out to my webmaster Antonio Thompson out in Brooklyn, New York, who has done an amazing job, revamping my website and everything of the sort. So, like I said, Antonio Thompson, kudos, because he's definitely been there in the clutch for me. So I definitely appreciate what he's done.
Yes, thank you, Antonio. You were in there in the clutch for me too. So I'm looking at, you've done all kinds of stuff. You've done TV, you've done movies, you've done some web series. You've got the music that we're going to talk about. And I'm like, what haven't you done? What is going on? I'm like, well, maybe you haven't podcasted. And then I saw you, in fact, did used to do a podcast. So yes. First question, have you thought about restarting that podcast?
It's funny you said that, because I was just talking to a friend of mine about an hour ago, and a couple months ago, I had the thought of wanting to relaunch my podcast. But it's basically, I'm one of those people where it's like, it has to be done perfectly in my eyes.
I am the same way.
I could do something. So it's only a matter of when it happens. Not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. I could decide. I could wake up tomorrow morning and say, okay, I'm going to relaunch my podcast again. But it's all about when I'm ready and when I have the, all the things that I want to do with that to relaunch it. But it's coming soon.
All right. Making me feel even smaller. Thank you. So my next question, the follow-up, I guess, with all the stuff you've done, is there one that's your favorite? Like if somebody said, hey, Derrick, we want to pay you a lot of money to do this one thing, TV or do a movie. Is there one that would jump out at you and say, yes, I want to do that right away?
It's a tricky question, because it really all depends on what it is, what the TV, like if I was given the option of television, okay, am I going to be a guest star? Is it going to be a permanent thing, versus, okay, if it's a movie, who am I, as far as like reading the script and just seeing the quality of the script and all those things, reading through everything, the synopsis of what the story is about. So it's much deeper than the money, to be honest with you, because I've always been, and I've always had this idea of, I'm not necessarily in this for the money. Now the money's great. It would be great once I reach that plateau, obviously, when I'm on that level down the road. But right now I'm just more or less looking at the quality of work that comes with it, and, making and building relationships to where that won't even be a question down the road. If I had the choice of TV or movies, I want to work. That's pretty much the bottom line. I want to work and be really, really productive at it.
I like it. Well, the money wasn't a deal breaker, but it was just hypothetically. So, all right. So you wouldn't just jump at one thing. It would have to be something that you could enjoy doing and that you could really throw yourself into then. Absolutely,
because at the end of the day, it's like you can get paid to do something, but are you really going to enjoy it? Is it going to be worth, is it going to be worth it? You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at all of the avenues and all the tangibles that are involved in that, looking at everything, looking at every piece of the puzzle and how it fits and how you fit in and all those things. So once I'm there, then I can definitely make that decision at that point. But right now, I'm looking at it from a sense of like, what's ultimately the best situation for me, and how that's going to set me up down the road going forward.
And that's a beautiful segue. Whether you planned it or not, it worked out. Speaking of quality things and doing things that you can really dive into, and in things that you enjoy, you have a song out. Has it been too long to still call it a debut song? Because it came
It's still
out.
my debut song because I haven't done anything yet. I'm still working on something, and I'll talk about that a little later. But no, the song's been out since November 11th of 2016. It's called Selfish Pride. I wrote this. I wrote the entire song myself.
With that, did you? I'm a musician as well, and so I'm always
Okay.
interested in the process of putting a song together. And
Right.
so, did you come up with the beat at the beginning and say, "Oh, let's roll with this"? Did you have lyrics down first? Did it all just come to you at one time when you're sitting in your car one day? How did it come about?
Well, the genesis of this song, I was at my job and I was in a mood to write. I was in one of those moods to write. It was raining. I was like, I want to, and I got back from my lunch and I just started writing. And I had the melody in mind already, and I just started writing. A day and a half later, I was done. I had the idea of having it to be an acoustic song. It wasn't supposed to have been what it is now. It was supposed to have been piano and guitar. That was going to be the whole idea of the song. But the two people that I had in mind to help me record that, they had their own projects going on, and it was going to take too much time for what they were already doing. And again, kudos to those guys, Ryan McMurray and Kevin Gardner, who are tremendous guys. They were in a rock band called Even the Slept with my best friend Jay Mello, and they were doing their own side projects as well. So again, no ill will towards those guys at all. But again, they had priorities that they had to take care of. So at the same time, I used to write songs when I was young, and I used to write songs over the years and would just do nothing with them. And I made a bet with myself, and I said, Derrick, if you do not record this song in 6 months, you are to never write music again. So
Wow.
I literally dared myself, bet on myself to get this done. Luckily, my nephew Earl, shout out to my nephew Earl, he has a producer in Jersey City, New Jersey, he moved to Germany recently, and he linked us together, and I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do, and we talked about I would say about 15 minutes. We talked, we scheduled our studio time, and we laid down the track first because I played the main melody on piano, and he took care of the rest, and we laid down my vocals, and that was that. And then the other end of things, there was a gentleman that my sister introduced me to named Aswad Samad. He's out of East Orange, New Jersey. He did post-production. He also added background vocals as well as the background vocals that I already did on the song. So he added his flavor to it, and he did a tremendous job with it. And he did the post-production with the mixing and the mastering, and then that's how it really came to be. And I could not believe that I recorded a song. Even now, it's like when I think about it, and if because I haven't watched the video in a while, but like if I just happen to just see it again on YouTube or something, I'm just like, man, I cannot believe I actually did this. So it's rewarding and humbling all at the same time, because it's like, man, it's like I want to do something. I want to write something with substance, and I want to write something that people can relate to, people can understand and appreciate, and then hopefully change somebody's life through song.
And it's also a pretty sweet jam, if I can
I
say that.
appreciate that. No, I definitely appreciate it. And it's so many influences I've had throughout my life, musically and in the entertainment industry. And then of course my parents being former entertainers themselves. My mom didn't do it as long, but my dad did. My dad was in the Drifters for about a good 20 years, off and on. God rest me. My father passed away in October of 2010, but he spent most of his life in the entertainment industry, and he did a lot of it over in Europe. So the music gene was always there, and I was playing drums since I was 9. So the music, or gene,
So
whatever you
you
want to
had to
call it, was
do it.
always in me.
So yeah,
You
you
know,
had to do this. Like there was no way around
it was
producing a
destiny.
song.
After I dodged it for so many years, it was almost like I was dodging it, like I'm in dodgeball, man. I just don't want, nah, 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 nah. Then the acting thing came along. the bug was biting me as far as the acting, and then the music was just creeping right behind, man. And it just said bam. It was all timing, and I think the acting thing also helped set up the music, because by that time I made a lot of connections through many acting gigs that I did, and I was fortunate enough to have many of my acting friends and also a director and a producer of 2 films that I did direct my music video. And I think it was just those things that were just meant to happen. The stars aligned, and it was a beautiful thing.
That's why it's great. You do so much and you meet so many people, and they say, hey, this guy's got some good stuff going on. And then, oh, how can we help him do this other thing? And then, make him a superstar or whatever. Maybe just doing their thing to help you out. And that's awesome. I love that you bet on yourself, because I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm working on an EP, and I have notebooks full of half-finished songs, and it's getting to a point where I'm gonna have to take a page out of your playbook and just say, yeah, you got to do it, or it's got to stop, because it's the feeling of finishing something that you created from nothing. Like it's just, there was no song there, and now you have a song in a video, and now we're sitting here talking about it, and that feeling is just, it's awesome to be able to have something that you just, here it is. It was in my head, and then it was on paper, and now here it is in the world. And that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and it's like, again, you hit the nail right on the head, man, when you talk about betting on yourself. And that's the way it is. The most successful people in the world have failed at some point, right? A lot of people have failed, and the most successful people have never given up on themselves, because they put so much time and effort and energy into doing what they believe in, whether it's Bill Gates, whether it's Jay-Z, whether it's, anybody that's making a difference in the world, in any endeavor. They have to bet on themselves, because if you don't bet on yourself, who's willing to bet or invest in you?
Yeah, if you don't have the faith in yourself to do something, nobody is going to look at you when you're just like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. Nobody else is going to come along and say, don't worry, kid, you can do it.
Right, and you have to be super ambitious, especially in this endeavor in the entertainment industry, where to me it's oversaturated with some amazing. And I'm not saying oversaturated in a negative term. Right. I'm talking about it's saturated with so much talent. So you have to really do something to set yourself apart. Do something different. Don't be a carbon copy of someone else. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a carbon copy of someone else, you're just, okay, we've seen that already. But I'm trying to have my hand in so many different pots in entertainment to be, if you want to use the term Renaissance man, be my guest. But
we could do that.
Seriously. I look, for example, and I know we're going to talk wrestling in a little bit, but I look at a guy like Chris Jericho, right? Chris Jericho, to me, is the epitome of what a true Renaissance man in the entertainment industry is all about. This man has obviously doing the professional wrestling thing. He has an amazing podcast and a podcast network. He has an album that just came out. He's in a rock band. He's hosted game shows and TV shows and all those things. He had a web series called, But I'm Chris Jericho. He had that thing going on. And there's just so many other, and he's doing his cruise.
And he's doing it. He's written 4 books also.
Right. So, I look at those things, and he's always staying busy. He's never satisfied with just doing, okay, I didn't come this far to only come this far. I have to do this. I have to do more here. And, let's go over there. Let's do that. So I look at him in a lot of ways, and I say, you know what, man? Like if there's someone that I can say, okay, that I can emulate somewhat as far as creating my own path, so to speak, it would definitely be him.
That's awesome. And another wonderful segue into what we're going to talk about, because, we don't have to talk a lot about it. It's totally up to you. But Ben mentioned to me that you're a wrestling fan. And
absolutely.
Obviously, Chris Jericho, big wrestler, he's awesome. So I'll be at the Royal Rumble. You're undecided, but
still waiting on that. But I'll definitely be at NXT Takeover on this coming Saturday night. I will be there for that.
And those shows, from what I hear, are very fun. They always put on a great show.
I always say a lot of times after those NXT pay-per-views, I'm like, main roster, follow that. And I say that out of all respect. Because I know those every single professional wrestler. I don't care if you're wrestling for the WWE or if you're in NXT or if you're wrestling for Ring of Honor, for New Japan, for House of Hardcore. And the list goes on and on. PWG, my boys down at Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey. Shout out to Danny Cage, Bill Wiles, and Blue Meanie, QT Marshall, who does a great job, with that wrestling school, Monster Factory. And, the list goes on and on, of any wrestling promotion. All those guys bust their humps, out there, put their bodies on the line, so I've been a fan of professional wrestling now 36 years almost. So I have, deep, rich history and seen so many great matches. Like today is the 35th anniversary of Hulk Hogan winning the WWF championship from the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? So, rich history that I love professional wrestling. So we could talk wrestling all day long. But yeah, this weekend, the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite, events of the year. The brainchild of Pat Patterson. And I'm looking forward to seeing the very first women's Royal Rumble. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited. The Rumble is my favorite event of the year. Yeah, I like it more than WrestleMania. Battle Royals are so fun. I read
so unpredictable.
I mean, maybe a year or two ago that somebody's like, the Rumble is basically 30 guys playing The Floor is Lava for an hour. And I think it's a great way to explain it to somebody who doesn't get it. And there it is. And now we'll have ladies in there. And I'm really excited. I never thought it would happen. I never thought we'd get to a point where the women would be so, because they were usually, they're the valets, or they're like a sideshow act, and they're just kind of pushed to the back burner. But now here they are at the forefront. Oh, Absolutely. We have all these great women coming in. We have great matches now. And, oh, yeah, we're going to give you your own Rumble. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. And here's the thing. I'm not one of these Johnny-come-latelys that's just getting on this women's revolution bandwagon. I've been an advocate for women's wrestling going back to the days of Wendy Richter, Leilani Kai, Velvet McIntyre, the Jumping Bomb Angels, the Glamour Girls, when they had women's tag team championships in the WWF. You know what I mean? So
you're dropping some real hardcore names here. You're in it, man. I love it.
I mean, sensational Sherry Martel, Rockin' Robin, Judy Martin. There's just so many talented women's wrestlers back then, and then they went away from that. And I know in the Attitude Era, they brought the women's championship back, but it wasn't meant to be what it is now. And I'm so grateful they hired Sarah Del Rey to be one of the head trainers down at NXT. And she really, really revamped that thing. And I'm glad that Triple H and Stephanie, everybody involved in it, have to put the focus back. Because I think it was one Raw, and I can't remember. I think the women may have wrestled 2 minutes. And I think the hashtag Give Divas a Chance, movement started. Meanwhile, I'm sure those women on the main roster were looking what's going on at NXT. That's when Charlotte, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks were all down there killing it. You had all those talented women down there. And then Paige was down there at one point. But of course, it was just it was a work in progress. And then all of a sudden, here we are. And I know she's not going to want me to do this, but my really, really good friend is now on the Raw roster. Her name is, real name is Dara Bernardo, but she is known to the world as Sonya Deville. I'm super, super proud of her.
Oh, that's amazing. She's fantastic.
Let me tell you something. And I mean, just goes a long way. And I mean, truly one of the hardest working people that I know. And I'm not just saying, I'm not shooting any BS or blowing smoke. Someone that is a trailblazer in her own right, has traveled. She was doing mixed martial arts. She had 3 fights, I believe, out in California, over the last couple of years before she did the Tough Enough thing. And I mean, I was so happy for her, when she even did Tough Enough. And I just kept, words of encouragement and everything. Not that she needed it from me, but I'm just saying, I know she believes in her stuff and her abilities and what she's able to do. And now, she was down there with 2 years, and then here she is on the main roster. And I mean, you want to talk about marking out, man? Because obviously she didn't tell me she was going up. She just, it's one of those things, man. I don't need to know, but I was just so happy for her, and I mean, literally. So trust me, I'm pulling for her to win the Royal Rumble. That's right. I'm being a homer. I'm pulling for Sonya Deville to punch her ticket to WrestleMania, because, like I said, she's going to be a game changer. She has a great look. She has an MMA background. She's legit. She looks like an athlete. Not to say that they all don't, but she really, really fits the part. And like I said, she sets herself apart from everybody else. So I'm super happy for her. So, Daria, if you're listening, I love you, and I'm pulling for you this weekend.
I'm going to jump on that too. She's fantastic. And if you are listening, you're wonderful, and go kick some ass. Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely, man.
Nice little nugget. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. I know we just spent a lot of time on the women, so I'll just breeze quickly. Who do you like in the men's rumble?
In the men's rumble, it's interesting because there's so many different angles they can go with, especially who's going to walk out. It all depends because see, let's just say Brock retains, right? Then you're talking about a potential rematch with him and Roman Reigns. Now, I'm sure Vince would be the biggest savage in the world and have Roman win in Philly again.
Yes, he
and
would.
Piss everybody off. Right?
Absolutely.
But he may go for the jugular and he may have somebody else win it. To be truthful, oh man, I may have to go with the dark horse and say Shinsuke Nakamura. And that could set up the match.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because let me tell you, every hardcore wrestling fan wants to see the rematch from Wrestle Kingdom 10 with AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. That match was off the charts, let me tell you. And that was right before they left to come to WWE. So I would like to see that. We got a little tease at Money in the Bank. And a lot of fans were like, oh my God, they're facing off and everything. But I would like to see Shinsuke win it. That would be my dark horse pick.
I feel like, too, that would help Shinsuke because since he's been up on the main roster, he's kind of just been, another guy. Like, he does all this cool stuff, but
here's where I think they missed the boat on Shinsuke. And hear me out for just a second.
Sure.
Now, obviously, the casual wrestling fan, and that's who they cater to. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? They don't know who these guys are that's coming from these other companies and things of that nature. A lot of them don't even watch NXT or even have the network, right? They only tune in to watch Raw and SmackDown, and that's and they get their wrestling feel every week. So with a guy as special as Shinsuke, I think they should have done something to where they should have been showing vignettes, how they did Asuka when she was coming from NXT. Now, granted, she was injured, which is why they were doing that, than rather have her show up. I think they should have done something to where they could show some of that vintage footage from when he wrestled in other promotions. Now, I don't know if they could get the New Japan footage, but show something and show how special this guy is. Because besides all the theatrics, the Freddie Mercury, the Michael Jackson, and that's freaking phenomenal. Because I mean, when I got wind of him many years ago, and I was YouTube and I was watching, and he set himself apart over in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So I think they have to get back to doing those vignettes. Because let's face it, in the Attitude Era, right? Now, as raunchy as the character was, everyone was looking forward to seeing the debut of Val Venus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real about it. Because they were shoving it in your face. Here's this guy that's had this insane character, you know what I'm saying? And this, I don't want to, keep kind of keeping it clean, but you get what I'm saying. All those things, even back in the 80s when they were showing those vignettes of Mr. Perfect hitting, playing golf, playing basketball, throwing the football to himself, playing bowling, throwing ball at 300. It's fabricated. It's wrestling. I get it. But it was buying into the character. So in order for them to get the fans to buy into Shinsuke Nakamura, they should have done more promoting him and promoting this out of this world character. He's coming from he has this rich, wrestling background, his MMA background. He has this amazing moveset, but he's entertaining. But I think they should have gone that route in introducing him to a brand new audience.
I definitely miss the video packages. They do a lot. They do so much with so little. It's amazing how you can get somebody over with the crowd and go, here's why you should enjoy this person who we're about to bring up. Like Razor Ramon. Here's why you should be into this character. This guy who's
dude,
toothpicks at guys, right?
Dude, when he said, I'm El Jefe, man. The boss, Chico. Like that one line, I said, I can't wait to see him come to TV. Speaking of video packages, did you watch Raw 25 last night?
I did not. I'm about to do it as soon as we're done here. You can spoil anything. Go ahead.
Okay. The opening video package.
Oh, I did see that. I did watch that, yeah.
With Fall Out Boy?
Yeah.
Tell me that didn't hit you in the feels.
There was so much good stuff in there.
Oh, my God.
So good.
But you want to know something? I guarantee you a lot of people didn't hear that song before or downloaded that song today. See what I'm saying?
I did. When I watched the video the other day, I did, yeah.
When you put it in the fans' face and when you promote, they will come. So like I said, I think they have to get back to doing those vignettes with certain characters, especially when you want to protect them, and do that.
Yeah, just get somebody used to it. Like, here's this person, here's why you should like him, and go from there instead of just, hey, here's it, because it's kind of a catch-22 where you don't want to retell the story you did in NXT because that's your property that you think that people have seen. But at the same time, a lot of the people who are watching Raw or in the audience for Raw and SmackDown may not watch NXT. In fact, they probably don't. They probably have no idea what NXT is, and they don't care. Like you said, they get their weekly fill from Raw and SmackDown, and that's it. So it's kind of weird. You have to find a weird balance of, yeah, here's this guy who did all this great stuff that you probably didn't see. But at the same time, we don't want to retell it for everybody who did see it, because then they're like, oh, Jesus, get on with the show already. It's 3 hours. Hurry up. What are you doing?
Right,
so
exactly.
It's kind of a weird thing. But, yeah, video packages, like, I don't know if this might be a little lost on some casual listeners, but the Dashing Cody Rhodes videos from, like, 2011, maybe?
2010, 2011,
and he was giving you grooming
great.
tips. And that was so funny. And they, I think around the same year, Alberto Del Rio, when he was coming in, the aristocrat, here's all the stuff I have, look at all these cars, and I'm super rich. And I was like, wow, this guy seems like a real douche. Let's see what he's going to do on this show. That's going to be really fun.
Absolutely.
Like, it was so simple, and it's like, here's what we have, here's what they're doing, and now let's see what they can do. And then Cody Rhodes with the Bagman stuff, and that was so fun. But he's crushing it in wherever he is now.
Now, you want to talk now, and I'm glad you brought up Cody Rhodes, because just when we're talking about betting on yourself, that man is truly the epitome of the phrase betting on yourself. That man walked out on his, he didn't walk out on, he asked for his release, and he went to bet on himself. And now that man he's now a former Ring of Honor champion, and he's wrestled, he's doing the Bullet Club thing with the Elite. And he, that match he had to wrestle. And by the way, I actually watched Wrestle Kingdom live as it happened. I was up at 3 a.m. watching Wrestle Kingdom 12 from Tokyo, Japan.
That's awesome.
And I got to tell you, that pay-per-view was amazing. The match he had was insane. I really enjoyed it. And that guy, he needs to be commended, because who walks away from the biggest wrestling company in the world, who was really a mid-carder at best, never reached that brass ring that they like to say. That's the proverbial phrase they like to use. But yeah, they wanted, he didn't grab the brass ring. He leaves and he kills it on the indies. And now he's just down to 2. He's Ring of Honor and New Japan back and forth, and that's it. He's making a killing. Good for him.
I love it. It's awesome. Oh, so much stuff. But you don't need to worry about Brock Lesnar retaining, because Kane is going to pin them both at the same time in the middle of the ring. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. It's going to be great. Kane's my favorite wrestler ever. That's why I say that. So it's not like I don't have insider info, but I'm telling you that's what's going to happen.
Hey, I like Glenn Jacobs. He's a classy guy from people that I know that've met him. He's a real class guy, stand-up guy.
And he'll put over anybody. He would put over me if I asked him to.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, the character's over. That is a 20-year character that was not supposed, from what I understand, was not supposed to be for the long haul. And he reinvented himself over and over and over and over again. That's how The Undertaker lasted so long. Same thing. Reinvented himself. Jericho, reinventing himself. That's the key.
Just keep doing, so don't lock yourself in, and keep having fun with what you're doing. That's really the lesson here, to bring it all back around. I just realized we probably should have done this first and then the song preview. Oh, man, in case people check out of the wrestling. Oh, no, I blew it. That's all right. I do have a bonus question for you, but instead I'm going to put it at the end of the show. So we're going to do that after the song. And we already talked about it, so I don't need to do a whole lot of promotion for it. But it is called Selfish Pride. You can find it on Amazon, iTunes,
Spotify,
other places where you find music. Yes, I don't really know what Spotify is, but it's up there somewhere. And the music video I will post in the show notes so you can check it out. And where can our friends find you and bug you on social media?
Sure, you can reach me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat at @TheRealDTLew. And you can go on my Facebook page, Derrick T. Lewis official page. So you can go to all of those social media platforms to follow me, and usually I follow people, do a good job of following people back. If you want to, direct message me about, ask me questions about whatever, I'm open book and willing to answer.
All All right. Well, there you go, Derrick. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for we did have fun. We had a good time.
We did.
So thanks, buddy. So we'll play again. Here's Selfish Pride, and we'll come back and do I don't know what here inside the Melting Pat on Next Level Radio.